This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Monday, July 30th, 2018, episode 185. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you can visit our website, infectionpodcast.com. Joining me as he does each and every week, normally on a Tuesday, but we're here on a Monday, Brian with an I.
Shaking it up.
Aldridge.
Oh, yeah. Up a little bit.
Absolutely. What's going on, Brian? How are you?
Doing very well. If you want to find me on the internet, of course, you can go to Twitter and at Boise Computer. Or, of course, you can go look at my blog, biteoftech.com. And then if you want to find both of us, go on to our website, infectionpodcast.com, and click Join Discord server. And we have people throughout the whole week that are chatting in there, hanging out, playing games. And there's places that you can suggest news to us. If you have a game that you're excited about, that you want to discuss, or you want us to discuss as well, jump in there and give a suggestion in our news channel for it. Also, we have our Steam group, which gives the live notifications right before the show starts. And that's just once to twice a week. You get a notification on there when we're getting ready to do something. And then we have a link to our YouTube and our audio only formats. Of course, if you're listening to this after the fact, we have our Twitch channel. So make sure you join us. And today it's Monday, but normally it's Tuesdays. Yeah. And we'll be back, I guess, next Tuesday. Yes.
And I was we were just thinking about it before the show. We are very close to PAX. We will be out there in 30 days. This countdown is the Friday where PAX starts. In just 30 short days, we will be out in Seattle. I've never been out to the actual West Coast. I've been in the Pacific time zone, but never been out to the West Coast. Hanging out at PAX West 2018. We're looking forward to it. If you want to help us get there and make that trip possible, you can head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/PAX. Subscribe on Twitch, the Humble Bundle, the Amazon affiliate, everything else. It all goes to the same place. So we thank everybody for that. And a couple more shows. I guess we'll have, we'll have 4 more shows. Four more shows, and then
we'll be doing a show in Seattle.
We'll be doing maybe 2 shows in Seattle, potentially, depending on how that goes. And then our show on September 4th, rather, will be. So
we'll have a show the day after we get back, correct? So we're coming back Monday?
We're coming back Monday, yeah. So we'll have a show on September 4th, which will be a regular show. We'll talk about PAX a little bit, and then we'll bring the PAX content in over the next few weeks after that. So looking forward to that. And that's our trip. Looking forward to it. A couple weeks, literally just a couple weeks.
Yes. All right. One thing we didn't discuss is, do you have a preference on game of the week? I was thinking, because I'm still holding out. I'm hoping for 7 Days to Die, because it's got to be quick, or it's got to be coming up here in the next 2 weeks. So I figured we could do something simple, possibly like PUBG as a filler, hoping, or I wasn't sure if you had a preference on what we actually played.
I don't. I don't, but I do want to thank our friend PHVCK for the resub, 5 months of subscribing. Thank you, PH. And he has some comments about a game that we'll talk about here in a little while. Yes. We'll get to those a little bit later on. Sarah's recommending Royale. Let's just see what people think about. Maybe we'll throw something in at the end of the show.
Through the show, kind of give us your input. And
not playing Friday the 13th.
We're not going to do Friday the 13th. Sorry, Firebomb. That's just not an option. We'll discuss it in chat kind of through the show, and then before the end, we will give a for sure.
Thanks to my good friend Dave for cheering us on while we're doing the broadcast here. We appreciate that, Dave. Thank you. We did play a game last week, which was Tabletop Simulator, and what was the name of the game that we played?
Zombicide.
Yes,
So
and
we played Zombicide, which was a is one of the DLC versions of, because there's stuff in the workshop. There's a bunch of things in the workshop that you can play
anything
that are made by random people.
Yeah.
I mean, any game you can think of that's ever been made in times past is somewhere on the workshop.
Yep.
And then companies, and these are all done, I guess, pretty much illegally.
Yes.
Because those ones are not licensed. People aren't paying for the property. And so when they turn around and make that, the original company that creates the actual game gets nothing of it. Now, to get around that, and if a company's totally upset about that, what they can do is turn around and create a DLC, which then people can purchase in Steam, and it will be licensed and, you know, maybe created by someone else, but at least licensed by the original game distributor. And so this was one of those. This is one of those that is actually made, and it has everything in it that the normal board game version of Zombicide would have. So we had never played Zombicide before, and I got it just for this so we could play it together as a group. And what did you think of, first of all, the quality level versus the marketplace versions of workshop versions of the game?
I honestly was a little disappointed, if I'm going to be frank with you. There were a lot of little weird, quirky things that we've come to experience and have come to just deal with Tabletop Simulator, as again, all of the games are illegal reproductions. They're not licensed. But in this case, you'd purchased DLC that presumably the company that publishes Zombicide had input on, and a lot of those little quirks were still there, like things on the player card not lining up correctly. It wasn't so terrible.
Some of it, I think, is probably limitations of Tabletop.
Maybe.
As far as just weird, because you notice they put those special things for marking the progress on the bars that actually moved correctly. You would think they would have placed it there to start, so that we didn't have to say, oh, that's what that's for, and then place it there when we're using some other piece that was also an arrow pointing at something. And it's like you couldn't get that thing to line up. So that was just a weird thing that they didn't place there, and they could have just as easily placed them on each of the boards and said, all right, here's the starting point.
Here's the thing. It wasn't bad. It was probably the best experience we've had with the game, but it still fell a little short for a paid DLC, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert on it, but it just seemed like a lot of those little weird things that frustrate you about the free games that you download still existed on that version. So, but in terms of the game itself, a lot of fun. One of the better board games that I've played. Super easy to pick up. Concept was really simple. Fortunately, Saul was there, and he was our GM. He'd played the game.
He said he's played the physical version
so
before.
That was helpful, and I'm sure if he wasn't there, not that you aren't capable, Brian, but it's a little bit different.
I've been reading the rules along with you, trying to figure it all out as we went, and so that helped a lot.
Exactly. That helped a lot. Obviously, both of us are capable of reading the rules and doing it, but when you've got somebody that has actually played it before and seen how it plays out, that's good. That's good to have. So overall, I had a really good time.
It has the story kind of going through it of a continuing story. So this was pretty much Act 1, I guess you could say. And so we played through just escaping a city block, or, this part of a city, and it progresses through different layouts that you would actually lay out on the physical board version of city streets and rooms and things like that. So it's more than just the exact same board every single time. It gives you kind of a unique experience. So the next time when we play the game, we could pick it up from that point and continue the story through.
Yeah.
Similar to Mice and Mystics. It's kind of a reskin of Mice and Mystics. If you look at Mice and Mystics that we played that one time, I think, where you're the mice kind of escaping the castle.
I didn't play that one.
Were you there that time?
No.
So that's kind of a similar thing where you're going through a story and figuring it out as you go. So.
All right. Well,
but I do have that one as well. We'll have to play that sometime.
Okay, cool. Overall, I thought it was a very successful game night. We had six of us. Yeah, I think 6.
Yep.
And we had a really good time. It played out really well. And if you weren't there, you missed out, because we had a really good time playing it. And that's our Friday night game night. And we'll decide what we want to do at the end of the show for this week coming up. And with that being said, whatever it is, it'll be preempted by 7 days to die if they release their update. That's kind of the prerequisite here. Maybe we should do Fortnite.
Yeah, we're trying.
Have we done Fortnite for Game of the Week? I bet you we have not.
I don't, if we did, it was a long time ago.
Let's do Fortnite.
You want to do Fortnite?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't done that, and if we've done it, it hasn't been in a really long time. It's a hot game, and it's super easy to preempt because the game is free.
But I think we now have people that have actually played it more.
Yeah.
So when we originally played it, I don't think anybody was playing it. At all.
And if it gets bumped, it doesn't matter. So that's fine. Let's do that.
Okay. Very good. I'm fine with that. I have to reinstall it. But
well, yeah, it's free. What are you gonna do? So we'll be playing some Fortnite Friday night. You can join us 8 p.m. Eastern in our Discord. The link for that is on our website, infectionpodcast.com. Yeah, join us for that.
Very good. All right.
Got a lot of news.
Anything else we need to discuss before we go on to the first story here?
I don't think so. What do you want to start off with?
All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into Fortnite first, since you brought it up.
Okay.
There is a YouTube video here that has some of the changes that they recently implemented and are implementing in the future. So this was from the 27th, and this is kind of like a dev blog. And this is one thing they like to do. They like to discuss, hey, here's some, and they have an actual developer sit there and discuss what's being added into the game.
Yeah. If let's see, here's my screen that I'm looking for. This is the update. This came out on, as Brian said, the 27th, and quick little Fortnite update, and we'll go on from there.
Hey everyone, Andrew from Epic here. Today we're going to be talking about SMGs, remote explosives, and our next item. Let's get started. With our weapons, the goal is to provide players with a variety of tools for use at each level of combat engagement distance. The goal with SMGs is to provide a viable alternative to shotguns when it comes to close quarters combat. Unlike the burst damage of a shotgun that rewards timing and precision, SMGs should support a run-and-gun playstyle for those who prefer to hold down the trigger as they track a target. With the introduction of our new SMG and the compact SMG, we've certainly proven that they can be viable, but they have been overperforming when it comes to damage output and engagement distance. We've recently made a number of changes to bring them more in line with our goals of being a balanced weapon that excels at just close quarters combat. Rest assured that we'll continue to listen to the community when it comes to this weapon. We want to make sure that SMGs are a good choice, but not the only choice. We recently reduced the radius at which a charge of remote explosives can damage structures, and made a change that requires the charge to stick to something before it can be detonated. With those changes, remote explosives are in a healthier spot, but still hitting their goal of providing significant destruction towards structures that comes at the cost of some forethought and risk of execution. That said, we hear the community feedback that availability of this item is too high. To address this, we're considering a reduction to drop count and max stack size, and also the rate at which they drop in the world. Look for possible changes as early as 5.2. Finally, I want to clue you into our next item release. The guided missile is coming back. When the guided missile first made its way to Battle Royale, we loved all the fun and crazy moments it provided. But after its release, we shared the same concerns as the Fortnite community at large. It's hard to compete against a near-endless barrage of highly effective explosives. We've made a number of changes to the guided missile that position it as more of a scouting tool than a high-damage threat. This includes reduced movement speed, reduced turning radius, reduced damage and damage radius, and of course includes the ammo cap of just 12 rockets in our default modes. We've also improved the movement controls for mouse and keyboard to bring them more in line with the controller experience. We're looking forward to putting this exciting weapon back in your hands and seeing what you do with it. Let us know what you think. Hope you're having a great Fortnite first birthday, and from everybody here at Epic, we'll see you next time.
All right, and that's their little update video on different things that are coming to the game. Some fixes and stuff that they've made. I really like those style of videos. That is one of these things that, yeah, it's great. You can sit in front of a screen, or a lot of games do the screen capture updates where they just have there's just like a desktop presenter and somebody talking over it. Something about somebody standing up in front of a set and actually reading the updates. I really like how that plays out. More games can do that.
Epic doesn't seem to really push the community managers out in front of people as much. A lot of times, these other places, the only person you'll see is a community manager. Epic likes to get the developers out there and actually have the whenever they do a sit down and discuss features and things like that, they always have developers there, which is nice because then they're able to actually answer it they're not making up an answer, and they're not saying, like we heard with it, how many times with H1Z1, we'll have to go and we'll have to ask a developer about that.
Yeah.
Because then they never had to give a real answer. Like at Epic, a developer will know generally what the answer is on anything specific. So if they're taking questions from the chat, that makes it a much higher chance of them actually getting a real answer.
Now, it's not all peaches and cream with Fortnite. Brian, you put a link in here that links to an article from a source that we've been pulling a lot of stuff from recently, and I highly recommend checking them out on Twitter and their website, Massively Overpowered. Their website is massivelyop.com. They were the first ones to really put the whole Daybreak layoff thing in chronological order before IGN and Kotaku and everybody else picked it up, and Gizmodo, Massively Overpowered, had the scoop and had inside sources before and they were, I think, the main source of a lot of the information that came out from that. So there's an article in here that talks about data and the player numbers.
I mean, so this is the issue, and one thing that they compare it to is look at what World of Warcraft did to the online multiplaying kind of environment. When that came out, it, like Fortnite in its genre, that became the de facto standard of MMORPGs.
Yeah.
There you compared everything to WoW, and all those players. I mean, you could look at these games that were maybe somewhat popular before WoW came out, that were those style of games. Most people quit playing those games and went and played WoW. And so I think that's kind of the concern here is this is pulling, first of all, the streamers. We've seen this in real time throughout time as it's happened. We see, okay, where the streamers are going. All right, this is going to be the next game that's popular for a while. Once you see the streamers go there. The thing with Fortnite, and you could argue whether it's because Epic pays these guys to play it at least a certain amount of time per week, or if it's the fact that a lot of people play this game, and so therefore they have an automatic player base or viewer base. That could be another thing as well. But this is the game that if you're going to stream and you want a lot of viewers, you go and play this game. It's pulling away from League of Legends. I mean, as far as it's pulling numbers away from League of Legends. Another one on Twitch that we see a lot, Counter-Strike, CSGO, that has a huge audience. Overwatch, I don't know. I've not really seen that there's a huge Overwatch viewing community, but there could be a very large one there. But it's starting to pull a lot of these players, and they're actually going, and at least for people watching, they're going to actually watch people play Fortnite more than other games. They said that the hours watched of Fortnite is up 59% compared to League of Legends, which was down 19%, CSGO, which is down 51%, and Overwatch, which is down 16%. So I think what they're getting at is that those people aren't it's just that they're not watching Twitch anymore. They're watching this other game because you probably haven't picked up. You'll get one. So one thing I wanted to bring up that I found kind of interesting is you see these videos of kids dancing, like on the internet, they'll have a video on YouTube where some kids are dancing. And what dances do they do every single time now?
The Fortnite
you ever
emotes.
See a video?
Yeah, the Fortnite
it's
emotes.
Fortnite emotes.
Yep.
Used to be maybe there were, hip hop songs, things like that, where there were certain dance moves and you'd see people doing those dance moves. Let's say 5 to 10 years ago, that's where all these moves were coming from. Different things that people learned in music videos. And you don't see that anymore. And this has taken the place of people going and getting dances from it. They're purely, because I saw one where it was just all these kids, like they're supposed to do a dance with, and every single one of them did Fortnite dances. I was like, what in the world?
I'm telling you, if you don't think that Fortnite is not if you don't think Fortnite is having the impact that a game like Minecraft did, you're living under a rock. And it may even be bigger than the Minecraft explosion in 2008, 9, 10, in that time period. I mean, it's just incredible to watch.
I think it's so much more accessible. I mean,
That's
you
on
got
your
to
phone.
remember originally, you got to remember originally that it was very difficult to get Minecraft. You had to go to his website. He sold him. He didn't sell them on a normal website. You had to go through
Minecraft.net and buy it on this stupid
and you're buying a
webpage.
Java executable file that you then run.
Yeah.
And so there was a limitation there of people, first of all, not understanding Java and getting things to run correctly, not having it installed right on their computer. And then you had to go through and you went on this kind of sketchy website, just of some guy at that time, random guy's website, and you're buying this copy of the game, which was different. Steam was around then.
Yeah.
I think that this is and you just pick up a phone. It's free to play, so anybody can get access to it.
And everybody's got an Xbox or most people have got an Xbox or a PlayStation in their house. That's not very uncommon.
No.
Well, I've said this a couple of times. There is one of my coworkers, his daughter, who is of age to be playing these things. Like that's the age range. I don't know what the age range for this game is. 10 to 15 is maybe their main player base. 10 to 17. I mean, I don't know what the player base is. Maybe it's even younger.
That's probably their highest.
So is within that age range, and it's all she talks about.
Yeah,
and all her friends talk about. It's crazy. Yeah. This is absolutely going to. What did you call it? The wow effect?
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. I think that there will be a point when this game becomes kind of like Minecraft. There was an age where these guys did it, and then the younger generation came in and viewed it as that group's game.
Like it was my game. I mean, it was my age.
So that's the thing. It was your age range's game. These kids coming in now, they'll look at Minecraft and they'll probably look at it as someone else's generation's game.
Yeah.
I think that may be what has to take this out as far as Fortnite is. There will be an age range of kids to where then the younger ones view it as that's their generation of game, and then they'll start something else. But I think it's going to be that big, like Minecraft was. I think it's going to be that big to where you have a whole 5 to 6 year period of kids. Like this is their game of that.
Well, and I think Fortnite's going beyond that as well. For example, we've talked. Firebomb's mentioned a couple of times. He is really enjoying playing the game, but the caveat is he's playing with his children, and it's something for them to do, and that's I think even more important than just people playing alone. Similarly, how the people do that with Minecraft. They play Minecraft with their kids because it's a game that you can easily play with a couple of people. So that is even more profound than just people randomly playing it or whatever their player number is generational.
That's the thing is this is a game where there's not anything questionable. You don't have to worry about what your kids are doing when they're in the game, right? Short matches, of course, they're possibly talking to somebody on the internet. So you do have to be concerned about that, but
you don't want them to find some old guy on the internet and go to Seattle with them. That'd be freaking weird. You gotta be careful.
But you know what I'm saying? Like this is a fairly safe game, especially on the mobile, where there's minimal amount of interactions with other people other than fighting.
Yeah.
You can hand your kid a tablet and say, "Here, play this game," and you don't have to worry about them finding weird things. I mean, we did give that article where people talking about like there's swastikas in there, and you can't ever stop that with anything. You give people freedom to build something, and
Minecraft's notorious.
Minecraft had it all over the place. So that is a possibility, but I think this generation of kids are probably very numb to that in the first place.
Absolutely.
They don't view it as the same thing. They view that as just people being silly on the internet.
Yeah. I love every second of this Fortnite thing. There's this saying that a rising a rising tide raises all ships, and that's exactly how I feel about Fortnite. Even though Fortnite
It's going
itself,
to push the genre.
it's going to push the genre, and it's
the whole industry.
That's it. It's bingo. Screw the genre. I don't care about the battle royale. That's not true. I don't care about it pushing the battle royale genre. Fortnite itself is going to raise what the gaming industry as a whole is, and that's the big picture thing. And I know everybody likes to bitch and complain about Fortnite. If this is a massive thing that we're seeing go on right now, this is absolutely massive, and it's going to change. And it's a fact. It is changing how major publishers are looking at gaming. It's just, I mean, it's incredible.
So here's one thing. I think that Fortnite, they discuss in here that Fortnite is said instead of raising all boats, they're saying that several of the big tentpole titles are seeing a decline. Now, I think personally that there is some correction going on in the gaming market. We had a period of time where just a bunch of junk was being put out. And I think that Fortnite came out, and I mean junk is I guess purely based on your perspective of it. But I think a bunch of low quality or buggy, slow, whatever code was being pushed out, and people were going to the alpha craze so much that they were saying that's the reason that we can put out poorly performing games. And that was always what they pushed was, it's alpha, so we can get away with poorly performing titles, as far as the performance of the game. I think that this came out and it has caused people to realize where those games are lacking and to raise their expectations. So by I think they're raising the bar, they're raising the bar on what people expect from a video game and what you expect in an online title to perform like. And we saw that PUBG did not meet that bar. H1Z1, of course, didn't meet that bar. A lot of these games that when you have something next to it that's much different, then you notice things. When everything's low, you don't realize that they're low because they're all the same. They're all poorly performing. Then you have one that's actually good, and you're comparing it. Now you're saying, oh, well, that's what it should be like, right? We expect these guys to raise the bar, and I know that PUBG is trying. Like, they're doing their best to get performance back and to do all these things. But I think we had been lulled into that kind of H1Z1. Okay, that's good enough.
Well,
look at all the money, look at all the copies they're selling.
We're talking about the gaming industry, and PH brings up so he's saying, so you're saying Fortnite is pushing the whole industry, meaning that everything is going to be microtransactions and battle passes. No, that's just totally pigeonholing yourself into this idea that everything needs to be Fortnite. How about the quality of the game? I mean, how about a game that does updates and releases new items and new things into the game 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week? They're adding, sometimes they add 2, 3, 4 new items. I mean, that is a bar that I don't think anybody else has come close to. And anybody that has come close to it has been a big AAA studio.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. Firebomb saying that there are new items in the shop every day at 7 p.m. Daily content. How about pushing the bar forward in gaming so we stop playing the same shit that every goddamn developer decides, oh, we're going to make an early access game. We're going to release an eighth of the game released on Steam. Everybody's going to hate it. And we're going to work on it for the next 4 years while we've already spent all of the money. And then at the end of the day, we're going to have 1,300 people playing the game. How about that stops being the standard? Because we've been doing this show for 3 freaking years now. And from H1Z1 up until a year ago, almost 2 years of the show, it was nothing but that. It was half-baked, half thought out, and half-executed ideas. And then games like Fortnite and PUBG was pretty damn polished when it came to the market. Realm Royale I throw in this same boat because that game came out and it was very well executed. And those games all came out. Now they're all battle royales, but they were done. Damn it, they were done.
So now PHE says, so no more testing content, just push it out, which I couldn't disagree with more, because Fortnite, if anything, has shown that when they put something out, it works. It is polished. The quality level that they're putting their weekly things out on, because they've created a platform that is incredibly stable.
Yeah.
They're just now adding to that. Just like you would, I mean, I can compare it to, some other games where everything works very well. The game is considered released, but really what they're doing is just adding additional items and content to it. They're not fixing the game. With H1Z1, it was constantly, we're adding, redoing the shotgun. We're adding
Nothing new.
this new, it's something that we think is going to balance the game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're trying to balance the game, other than now that they're doing some balancing to the weapons, but they're not trying to balance the game by throwing in whole new items. They're throwing in whole new items to move everything forward still. They're moving the world forward, story forward. They're trying to give one thing that you will notice, the battle pass. The reason that I like the battle pass is because it is only valuable as far as people will continue paying for it if the game is still good in their mind, if they're still wanting to play it.
Yeah, because it is the same thing.
They have to keep people, they have to keep
one
people
map
interested.
and a couple of different game modes, 50v50.
And so people can pretty much fund it as long as they're enjoying playing it.
Yeah.
When they don't find it's enjoyable anymore, they can quit paying for the battle pass. And so that's much better to me than them pushing out tons of skins of, get this crate, and have a gambling situation where people are just pumping out all these skins, just hoping that there's one crazy enough, someone wants it, and then counting all your money on that. With this is kind of like a subscription service, similar to what WoW was. People found value in WoW, and so they're willing to, we talked about this before, pay the $15 a month.
Yeah.
With this, if people like it, they'll continue to pay that $10 every 3 months.
Yeah, something like that.
And they'll put that out for their kids, and they don't have to deal with all the gambling of, the kid wants, kids stealing $100 from their parents and then apologizing for it afterwards to get H1Z1 skins.
Well, not even steal from the parents, but constantly having to buy and reload an account.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reloading. You spend $9.99. Now, I think you can buy V-Bucks. I know you can.
You can buy V-Bucks, but you can't buy particular skin. Well, they have some special ones, but these skins that you're getting, you just have to play to get them. If you play, you sign up for the subscription, you play, and you'll get those skins. But if your kid doesn't play and get those skins, then just quit renewing the pass.
Yeah. I bought one of them specifically because I was enjoying the game for a period of time, and the game is free. And I bought it because I wanted to support the development. I mean, that was my rationale. Did I get $10 worth out of it? No. But, I mean, I want to support the development. I mean, that's all it is.
Same thing with WoW. I was willing to pay the $15 because they were putting out a ton of content.
Yeah.
And if I didn't want them to put out any future content, don't pay. Of course, you won't be able to play it. But that's the thing, is just don't support them with money. And guess what? They won't put out future content. If you like and you're looking forward to what they're doing, you'll put money into it, just like you said.
Spot on. Well, I like that discussion. We've been doing one of these almost every show now, kind of a little 20-minute, not rant, because it's not a rant, but a little 20-minute, more in-depth kind of observation discussion about not a specific game. Because yes, this was about Fortnite, but not really. I mean, this is about the industry as a whole and what we're looking at. So hopefully you've been enjoying these conversations. And I think
it's a free-to-play game. That's the thing, is that I think puts it more in perspective. It's a free-to-play game. You should be willing to then somehow put money into it. Even with mobile games, if there's a mobile game I really like, I will somehow put a little bit of money into it, because that's what they're expecting. That's how the only reason the company is putting out that game is because they are assuming that some people are going to pay some money into it.
And if
there's no true free-to-play game that has servers,
of course. And if there may be a podcast you really enjoy, and there's maybe a way to put some money into that. infectionpodcast.com/packs. We're just as bad as Fortnite, so whatever.
All right. So since kind of this, I think this rolls into the PUBG topic a little bit.
Perfect, Brian. You're a master.
Because this is one thing that Brendan had said. PUBG can't provide people with free servers.
No.
Yeah. So this is him discussing the custom server paywall that they're looking at doing. Now you can say this is a little hypocritical, because he was a modder on Arma. And with this, they weren't really expecting the company, they weren't expecting Arma to have free servers, but they did provide them a way to have their own free servers.
They did, didn't they?
Yes, and so you got to think with the mode that Brendan is putting forward, he would have never been, if this was the environment that he was working in, he would have never been able to create a game. So I don't really like the fact that he's kind of comparing it to Arma.
Using a bad analogy.
Yes, because what they're offering is not something that you can truly build a game on.
You're talking about one is an open platform, Arma, and two is PUBG, which is a closed platform. And
all this are custom matches.
Yes.
So it says PUBG custom matches won't have an associated cost during beta, but may charge in the future. So all this is doing is letting you set a customized version of a game. So he's trying to say, yeah. So I'm going to read that one quote again about Arma. It says, I was a modder for many years, and I didn't expect Arma to provide me with free servers to mod on. That, to me, that quote does not make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because there's a difference between, let's say there's the custom game modes that you can do with TF2 or not with or even with
you can host servers on TF2.
Yeah, like that, where you can pick, I want to have a server that has this exact game mode,
Filter.
And yeah, well, but there's even ones where you can go through, and I'm trying to remember if it was Team Fortress 2, maybe. I'm trying to remember which, or not Team Fortress, or if there was another game where they had and it was like a Doom style game, where they let you pick out the exact game mode, and then it would find an open server on the internet. We've played it as a group, and I just don't remember off the top of my head right now. But they made it very flexible, but they let people just create servers, and then it would actually auto configure the server. So people could put up their servers as hosting servers, and based on what your group wanted to play, it would find one of those and automatically configure it to that just to play on. And so it created all these servers that everyone could play on, but without having requiring the developer to sit there and host all these servers. Like if they really were just trying to make it so that people could do custom games, they could do something like that. And so that's not the goal. I don't think that is their goal. I think they're saying that's their goal, but I think really they want to find a way of paying for this. We were talking about Fortnite. They've come up with a way to pay for it that I think is more friendly to the client, to the person playing the game. I think they're kind of doing a losing battle with this by saying that we're going to charge you to do a custom game mode, but not allow you to host your own servers. If they really just wanted people to play the game, they would have let you host your own server.
Sounds like what they should do, and they're not going to do that because they don't want to open up the source, which is what they have to do if they let you host your own server, essentially. But what they should do is allow communities like us to spend $10 a month to have a server always running. And as you said, Brian, when somebody wants to go in, it kind of promotes our group because the server would be called the Infection Podcast server, and it would be whatever game mode somebody created.
People wanted to jump in, they could play on that server. But the thing here, I think it's going to be a per account.
It is going to be a per account thing. Yeah,
so you have to start up the game. You have to start up the games, and then people can join you and play those games. But it's not something we could just leave up and say, this is the Infection server. Someone has to log in and be there the whole time, which is just, we've learned with these games we've done like this in the past, that just doesn't work.
The Infection Builder account will be making its return to PUBG in 2018. I mean, that's what you're talking about. Yep. A standard, separate, standalone account that you log into to host the server.
Or even the Forest. I mean, we found that with the Forest.
Yeah.
If that person has to be logged in for replay, getting everybody together at a certain time and guaranteeing that one person's there, you can't get a consistent where you're like, I want to play right now. Let's go play this. Oh, let's go make sure that one person's online so that they paid for it. So I
do want to say, I don't like the model, but the point Brandon's making is an absolute fact. There's
no real free.
We cannot provide people with free servers. He said it's not a good business model. It's not financially reasonable. It's not something that they can do. It's not. He's saying We just can't provide free service for everyone. It's just not sustainable. It's just not a sustainable business model. That's an accurate statement. It's not. You can't be spinning up 10,000 custom game servers at any given point on, what was the game? $40 when we bought it? I think.
Yeah.
$40. They've gotten $40 out of me once. I have not put another penny into the game. I don't know if you have, but I have not put another penny into the game. But I'm expecting them to host a custom game server whenever I want. I mean, that's unrealistic. I don't think it's unrealistic to charge for each game. And they're saying they charge either real money or battle points, BP, which is their in-game currency. But something about charging per server and per game. Now you think every time it's like if when you were driving your car, every time you drove a mile, your dashboard popped up that mile cost you however many cents or something like that. People would
rather just fill up the tank. That's the thing. People would rather say, I'm going to subscribe to a monthly, like this allows me, or you could call it a battle pass. Have a battle pass where they pay $10 every 3 months and they can play as many games in that time as they want. When they see a ticker going or something and that may be what they do. You know, they probably, it just doesn't make sense. People don't like seeing I am paying for this game individually.
Could you imagine if every time you drove your car was just every mile it was 25 cents, 37 cents? You'd be losing your freaking mind. You'd be like, oh, I got to get as quickly as possible from point A to point B. Look at all this money I'm pissing away. When in reality, you're going to fill up your tank for $40 anyway, so who the hell cares? No, they cannot charge per instance. There is no
I
think
they need to come up with a better branding of. I think the thing is they've poorly marketed. They haven't thought it through in a way that's going to be recepted well by the players, because that's what Fortnite figured. Well, how can we get people to put money into our product and have them not feel like we're squeezing them?
Yeah.
I think with this, the perception comes off when we say we can't provide you stuff for free, so you're gonna have to pay to go in and play a game. That's just not perceived well. And I think that they could come up with a much more creative way of having people pay to where they have a perceived value. You know, because the thing is you go in here, you'll get frustrated and you'll quit paying for this after a while. You know, it's a limited amount of time that you'll say, oh, it's just not worth it. I'll just go play the regular game, or I'll stop playing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is a way for them to hold on to people and really keep them interested in this, unless they can get groups, say, as we said, the Infection. If Infection can have a custom game mode server that people can jump in and play that game mode and it has our branding on it, there would be value in that. And then you could continue to pay to have that stay up.
Yeah. This is just not realistic long term. It may be hot right off the bat, but you're right. 'Cause you can just go and play the regular game mode with the regular maps and it's not going to cost you anything. So it's going to be almost like a novelty thing. But I don't know.
I think that this would work for certain groups. I mean, Hot Drop, they play this game religiously, where if you had a couple people doing this, they'd get their value out of it. But for people that play it very randomly, it's just the people are going to say, I'm not going to bother with that. If you play once a week, you wouldn't bother with this. You wouldn't pay money to go do it. That's the thing, is they're only getting the very dedicated core. They're making those people pay, and they need to come up with a way where your average player will put money into it. That's how they're going to actually make money off of this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's not even the moral of the story, but the reality is it costs a lot of money to run these servers. They can't do it for free.
And people expect them to be running for 5 years from now, and they still want these servers running from the original $20 to $30, $40 purchase.
They have just got to figure out some way to deal with it. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, because I think either way, with the way that the internet works, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I don't really know what the solution is. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I do, because I don't.
I think for them, they really need to look at allowing people, they don't have to release the code, but putting out a client that lets people host a server that will let them just run these custom game modes, and then have official ones. If there's ones that you maybe give some sort of a perk for playing on the officials, it works. You get battle points from playing. If you play on a public one or a private one, you don't get a reward of some type. If you want to have these official ones, but give people another method, and then say, oh, okay, you're running your own server. You want it to where your community gets points for playing. All right, have it be an official server by paying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't. I really don't know what the hell, what they can do either way. But
they've had a lot of issues with public perception. They've made some decisions that have had people kind of turn on them here and there over time. And so I think this is another one of those things where you're not going to win this argument. People are not going to be happy no matter how you do it. If you're just telling them, well, you can't get it for free, we're going to charge you. I like that he's being honest about it, but I don't think it's going to make him win any internet polls of we love this idea. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, they needed to wrap this up in some other package and give you the ability.
People like to be sold. If it's snake oil, at least have pretty packaging.
People like to be sold, but they don't like to buy. That's the tag. Yeah, they like to buy it. They just don't like to be sold it. They need to be not misled, but with Fortnite, if they were to do something else, but the money to keep said feature alive was coming from the battle pass, they wouldn't change a thing. They just if you buy the battle pass, you get access to this.
Yep.
Private VIP.
So I think they could do that. I just think that what they're offering is too raw. It's too, you pay and you just get this one thing. Yeah. Like they need to sweeten the pot a little bit and make you think at least you're getting more. If they could do that, people will put out money.
They absolutely will. No doubt about it.
All right. So we actually have a video here. A year and a half ago, we met the guys from the Darwin Project, and they've gotten somewhat popular now. And I think with this new update, they're going to become even more popular because I think it'll create that twist on the game that'll keep people interested in playing it over a long period of time. And so they put out a dev blog, but he has a video kind of discussing some of the new features. So I think it's like a 3 or 4 minute video.
Yes, it is.
It discusses it pretty well, and it's mostly talking.
It's called Behind the Scenes 3, and it's their road to release for the Darwin Project.
Salut tout le monde and welcome to vlog number 3. Today I will speak about 3 important topics. The first one is the roadmap. Second topic, the tile system update. And the third topic, my new haircut. Let's start with the first topic. A lot of people are wondering what are our plan, what is coming for the next few months. So here is the roadmap. Okay, sorry. Okay, there it is. The idea is we will switch to a monthly logic. So instead of trying to patch every week, we will try to patch every month. More precisely, on the 3rd Tuesday of each month. This will allow the dev team to have more time to build more substantial patch and add more and better content. Each and every single patch will always include at least 1 new craft wheel item, 1 new skin, and 1 new show director power or tile. We are also building a lot of important systems like the progression system, the quest system, the new spectator experience, the duo leaderboard, the achievement system, and the training room and tutorial. Another important initiative is we have assembled what we call the Fight Strike team. Basically, 2 developers will be fully in charge of making sure that the fight always gets better in every patch. So they will improve it, debug it, add more animation, make it clearer, easier to understand, and add more depth to the mechanics. A lot of people are asking why are we not doing more marketing yet. So the way we see it is the game is still very early and it does not have much content yet. So we will finish it, we will add much more content, and then we will go to full release. And once we're at this point, we will go like marketing power, the superpower of the full marketing push. Second topic, the tile system. I'm happy to announce that we successfully did the system we mentioned in the last vlog. We took metaphorical scissors and cut them up in hexagons, and now we have made a system that allows us to position the hexagon in any possible orientation and space. This gives us the ability to more or less create an infinite amount of different maps. What's cool with this system, it brings us much closer to the Hunger Game fantasy. In the Hunger Game, the contestants are released in a map that they know nothing about, and they need to quickly learn, adapt, and improvise. Basically, the guy who wins is the guy who has the best survivability skill and the best adaptability. So this is really cool, especially for us that played thousands of hours. It changed the pace so much, but we're still very far from the full potential of the feature. Our vision is to build drastically different environments, each with a different type of survival mechanic, and make them cohabit next to each other and create a very interesting and unique type of map dynamic. You'll go from the snowy mountain to the For this though, you will have to be a bit more patient because developing a completely different new biome from scratch will take us a few months, but it will be awesome. Third point is my new haircut. Just went to Morocco, met a random barber, and I asked him to do his masterpiece on me, and this is what he did. Is it not beautiful? Thank you, everybody. I love you all. Keep giving us feedback. I need to go. I got a meeting with something in another dimension.
All right. An interesting video, to say the least.
They're lighthearted about it.
But I like it because this is exactly what I was just talking about. This is because of Fortnite. That's why they're doing those types of videos. I mean, that is the style. Cringe or not cringe, it's informative. It's quick, 4 minutes, and it was pretty funny. Plus, that guy's awesome. That's the guy that Brian interviewed. We were the first to talk about this game, so I thought that
and
was...
they're just having fun with it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, this is probably some intern that they've got that's doing an internship that they're having like, hey, we're gonna make a video, shoot it, and throw some memes on it. I mean, that's all that is. I think that's fine. I like it.
Now, so they did put out their update schedule, and so they've got pretty much their schedule from July till January to where they're doing fixes, balance, polish, but they're doing new cosmetics through the whole time. So pretty much every month they're doing new cosmetics and then doing fixes, and they show some of the different specific things that they're going to be doing. Like the mapping system is here in July, the new electronics power, the new show director power. And then next month they're going to be having the quest system, map updates for the new tiles, new tool. So through this whole time, like there's constant updates. And so this is a very aggressive update schedule.
Holy
and so
moly.
If they can keep up with this, I know from when I spoke to them, they said that they worked, they were working in the game development industry before for some bigger companies. And so they came together to work on this. So they have a lot of experience. So I'm confident because I feel like they can do this. They can actually maintain this. I think a lot of the problems we had with F13 was that those guys weren't really game developers. And so I think they had, originally, right? I think they were people that were interested in it. And I think they learned and figured it out, maybe hired on a few people. But I don't think they were in the industry and knew exactly what they were doing all the whole way through. I think these guys are saying, here's what we can accomplish in this time. And I think they'll be pretty close on it. I think they're probably giving themselves enough of a window in each of those months saying, here's what we can accomplish. So it'll be interesting to see by January how much of this they were actually able to do. And if there's anything they had to kind of concede on and say, hey, no, we weren't able to get this one in.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very aggressive update schedule. Each of these, introduce either it's either a new weapon, a new power, something in the what's that wheel called? He called it something. But the item wheel where you do everything. So there'll be every update there will be a new wheel item that is available. Either
a special ability,
either a power, a weapon, a tool, whatever it may be. And that's a lot to do every month on top of patches and regular
I'm wondering
fixes
if
and all
at the
that
end
other
of January, if that is their kind of when they're considering it to be out of road to release is what this is about. I wonder if after January, that's when they're going to consider it released, and then be fixes and things like that from there forward.
There is a ... after
be,
January, so I don't know what that indicates.
Yeah, so I'm kind of guessing that is probably when they're going to announce release, because you got to think this game, when it's been a year, a year and 3 months probably since they originally announced it.
Something like that, yeah.
Because I don't think anyone had ever seen it or been able to play it before PAX. So I think that this is pretty much going to be, just from a year and a half ago till January. That's them doing everything to final release. So that's not too bad for a very small team. What started out as a very small team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this. I think with the tile update, we'll have to schedule it in for a game of the week once they've implemented that in August, because I think that will make it to where it's not the same map every time, and it'll create that unique experience. He did reference the Hunger Games.
He did.
That's kind of their inspiration behind this. Is they didn't want to have a map where you go in and what's going to happen, where everything is, and it's and the person that does the best is the one who's memorized where special items are and done all this. This is going to be where you're going into a totally blank canvas. You don't know where anything is, and you have to figure it out as the game progresses. And I think that's a fun, unique style that most games, can you think of very many other games that do that? You have 7 Days to Die, but it's not a short game like this. That's a generating game. Minecraft has some generating content.
Minecraft's a generating.
But most of them,
Rust have a
Rust
can have a generation mode.
They do have one static map, and then or you can do generated. But it's something you generally don't see. And so most of these things that we played, okay, I'm going to go to this town. I'm going to go and look in this one place, and it's usually this one item. So I think that'll be interesting to see if people start to pick up on it and take it more seriously once that gets changed.
Yeah, I like it. Aggressive. They're holding themselves to a very strict schedule, and the end result should be a pretty damn good game here within the next couple months. I really hope they'll be out at PAX West. I'd love to.
And they're going to be putting out cosmetics every single month, which is smart because it keeps people, it keeps some funds flowing into the company on a regular basis, because you got to think this is a free to play game. So that's their revenue stream. And so they're going to be putting out, and they put out very unique skins. If you look at what they put out, they're kind of all Canadian themed, but like the hockey gloves and all that stuff, like it's unique looking things. So I think we'll see. It'll be in January. I think will be when they know like how much are we making consistent? Is it enough to continue and try to push this game forward even more, or do we just kind of let it do its own thing from here on out?
And we should know that soon enough, in the next few months or so.
Yep.
All right. Darwin Project.
Yes. Do you have a preference on what we talk about next, or can I choose?
I do. I want to talk about where was it? Let's talk about H1Z1. They are we played the PS4 version of the game. That's been out.
That was like a closed.
That was a closed thing. That was about 3. It's been out for about 3 months or so, maybe a little more. And it's officially launching into open beta. It will be leaving open beta. It will be full launch so we're in open beta right now. It'll be full launch on Tuesday, August 7th. So next Tuesday when we're doing our show. It will be official, and it's that's it. The game is coming from. It was enclosed for a couple of weeks. It was in open beta for the last few months, and now it's experiencing its final release on PC. So,
and when we played it was a fairly smooth experience.
Yep.
I mean it wasn't a crazy buggy. I mean it was different, but I think they had simplified it down to the level they needed to simplify it by taking out huge amounts of inventory storage and things like that, to where it was a very playable experience. And I think that may be what keeps this game alive as far as people playing it, because we played this however many weeks back, and we struggled to fill a lobby. I think that they'll have an easier time from the many numbers of people on the console world maintaining lobbies and keeping people playing. So if this may be what keeps their company afloat, is the console world, since it seems like PC people have really stopped playing this game for the most part.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And as we get further into the show, we'll have their updates for current players. I was trying to find my gameplay footage. It would tell me what date we were playing this, but I can't find it. So damn.
Now, what they're introducing here is the season 2, and so this has, with the new seasons, they're having a change to the tier system as far as the points. So bronze, when you start out with 1 point, once you get 1 point in it, 1 score, you can then be considered bronze. 350,000 for solo is a silver, 600,000 for gold, 750,000 for platinum, 1.2 million for diamond, 1.75 for master, and then 1.87 for royalty. And it's higher once you go into duos, it's a higher number, and then 5-mans is a higher number than that. So
I was playing this on May 15th, I believe, is when I got access to the closed beta at the time. That was a day or two before it was going to open beta. So it's been 3 months, and we'll have a launch as the first week of August here. So
cool. Now they're doing, for the rewards for this the tier system, they have some specific weapons that they're doing that have that's the thing with the H1Z1. They have those weapons that have the moving textures on them, have whatever crazy effects. So this one, it's got sparks flying off it. It looks like kind of, was it electricity?
Yeah, definitely electricity.
Electricity flowing through it, and then sparks dripping off of it. And so you get the Livewire MK1 AR-15 with bronze and silver. You get the Livewire MK1 and MK2 AR-15 with gold and platinum. And then you get those plus the MK3, so just different versions of it, of the AR-15 with diamond and master. And then you get a special one that's the MK4 with the AR, or for the AR-15 with the royalty tier. So they're having one that's only available if you hit royalty, and then removing one for about every 2 tiers below that. So I mean, do you think that's going to be enough to keep people playing?
No, I mean, you're reading through these notes, and our bad experience we had just a couple weeks ago. I'm not talking about experiences past. We played this game a couple of weeks ago, and we went in with a clean mind, a clean slate. Yep. I tried my damnedest not to let any past experiences form my opinions, but Jesus, I mean, we couldn't even get in a damn game. It took damn near 10 minutes to get into a game. I mean, this is just, none of this is exciting. I mean, PH made the comment, what the hell is this skin? I mean, what are they thinking? This is their draw to the game? They want stuff
that stands. That's the thing. That's what they want. They want something that just
But you don't never see it, Brian. I mean, you never see this. You're shooting a freaking black dot in the field.
What can they offer, though? What can they offer that people are going to see? That's what it would almost have to be like death screen. I mean, if you want something that matters with royalty, have death screens. Have it when you kill somebody, it does a unique effect on their screen for the kill. I think that that would make more sense for being a reward for the tier level, because this just kind of gets mixed in. I mean, maybe people will see it on the replay. Maybe when they loot you after they killed you, they'll be like, "Oh, he had that weapon," but there's not really the reward that people are looking for in the middle of
Here's
playing.
the thing. There's nothing in this reward list that makes me want to go and install this game. Nothing. Nothing in here is exciting to me. They've got. I mean,
but the thing is, they're all on the exact same gun too. Like, it's all AR-15 skins.
Yeah.
They don't give you anything else. Which is kind of strange.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Now, another thing they're adding is the Fumigator collection. So they have some new masks that are pretty much gas masks that they're putting in as well. And so that's their new, I guess, skin. So they don't come up with new meshes very often. So the actual asset that you see the shape of it, that's the mesh. They don't come up with those very often. So this is one of the first ones they've done in a while, because we usually see reskins of the same Daisy Duke shorts.
My red trucker hat.
Yeah, the hats with the same skins, the backpacks, the same assets. This is something they've actually came up with new. And they created a number of variations of it. And so one thing, like, what's with the musical instruments? Like, see the music notes?
It's the Rasta hat, bro. You're jamming out to Jimi Hendrix, dude.
Do you think it's going to have musical notes flying off the head like that?
And it'll have smoke coming out of it too.
Like, yeah, he's toking it up. So
there's just smoke. Look, you can see it on the couple of the masks. There's smoke on them.
Yeah, so they'll be emitting smoke, which is something kind of new. They haven't really done that. So that is unique, but this is what they're going for, these kind of crazy skins, so they get people to buy them because you're the one that has that. But you know that they'll come out with 100 variations based on the same mesh over time. They'll keep doing more and more. They very, very rarely do they come up with new actual items. They're just all reskins of the same items.
I mean,
and then they have the for a limited time, they have the weekend offer of the Rasta AK-47 and the AR-15. So they have those as well. But they gave you until the 29th, so that was yesterday, to be able to buy that.
I mean, I literally can't even figure out what the hell they're trying to do with this. I mean, it's like, what is Bob Marley? I mean, what are they trying to do? I mean, what in God's name is this?
We should get mad at them for cultural appropriation.
I mean, Jesus Christ! What? I mean, they have put so many. I mean, this Rasta seems like it's their only damn thing. They've got the Rasta backpack, and they've got all this other Rasta.
And then they have the bright pink tie-dye stuff. Like,
Jesus,
definitely theme. These are all just like themes that will go with other outfits, which I understand. But they must have like 5 to 6 different looks that they're kind of building on each time, because they've got that one that's the bright green, that has that pattern through it that they do. They have bright red. They've got kind of a military look. They have the pink. Then they've got the skull stuff, and then the Rasta. And so they kind of just make everything around those few items.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own. I don't play the game, so it doesn't really matter, but I don't get it. This isn't a draw. I don't think this is a draw. I could be wrong.
No.
But I do not think people with this game uninstalled on their hard drive, actually not installed at all, are going to see this on Twitter or on a podcast or on Twitch and go, "Oh my God, I've got to reinstall H1Z1 so I can run around in Bob Marley's final form in H1Z1 with smoke coming out of my fumigator." I don't think that's going to be the case. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times in the past, but I do not think this is the draw.
Now, one thing they changed in this is they say when you're opening, because this is very much gambling, right?
Well,
if you get lucky and open a crate containing the legendary Rasta fumigator, that's a jackpot roll.
Yep.
You automatically get all the helmets.
wow.
So that's the ultra rare one. So if you roll and get the legendary, which is that Bob Marley one, you will get all the helmets. So that's something new that they haven't done before. But it's coming down to, it's very much gambling. You're hoping for that jackpot.
Yeah. I mean,
it's frustrating me that that's their model when they're probably mostly these are kids that wouldn't legally be allowed to gamble anyways that are playing this.
that doesn't even bother me, to be honest with you. I mean, a little bit, but not. I mean, we talked about it in the past, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
All right. So I think that's it for H1Z1.
You want to do a game giveaway here?
Yeah, actually, let me get that set up. And
All right.
then-
Well, I'll take this
Right back up.
quick break here to remind everybody that we are going to be wheels up here in about 30 days, heading out to PAX West 2018 out of hopefully not rainy Seattle. And we need your help to do so. So if you head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/PAX, you can contribute to our PAX West Fund. If you subscribe to the show on Twitch with either Twitch Prime or regular Twitch subscription, if you donate bits and cheer and buy stuff on Humble Bundle, it all is going into the same place. It's all making our PAX trip possible. This is just our countdown here. So you can do that. It's on our website, infectionpodcast.com/PAX. Do appreciate your support. We are 34% of the way there, and have no fear, we'll be there. I'm really looking forward to it. I know Brian is, and so is Lance. And we're gonna be rolling out. We'll be rolling 4 deep in our Infection Podcast team at PAX West. So be careful. Again, it's not something I like to talk about, but we are kind of a big deal. So we're just gonna hey, you're gonna see us. You'll see us in a lot of other people's videos because people
we'll be back there, photobombing everybody
well,
possible.
it's not even photobombing. It's just we are going to be a big draw there. I mean, there's a lot. The PAX West contacted us and said, "Hey, we need you out here at this show. We saw what you did at PAX East. You brought Darwin Project to the center stage."
We shouldn't have turned down the panel they offered us. So
yeah. So
all right. So exclamation point giveaway in chat, and this will be a 60-point raffle. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Interplanetary Enhanced Edition. This is right now it's $14.99 on the store. It's a strategy simulation indie turn-based strategy. It's got very positive ratings, and hopefully this would be a game that some people find interesting. There's a couple people who have it that we know, but yeah, it's very positive on the ratings. It's about a year-old game, but it's like it's totally a Sol game. If you are interested in those kind of games that Sol's interested in, it's one of those style games, kind of economy based in space.
all right. You've set up a segue for me, so I'm going to take it. Speaking of Steam review, Steam ratings, a game, Brian, which we hounded last week, and I will continue to hound. No Man's Sky flipped their review from it was at mostly negative last week when we did the show. That was their all-time review. It was mostly negative. And their all review now is set to mixed, with 44% of the almost 90,000 reviews being positive. In their recent reviews, which is just shy of just a little over 8,000 total reviews recently, 81% of those are positive. So we've got some shifting in the tides going on with No Man's Sky. And I know you played some this week. This weekend.
Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of it this week.
So if you can, I didn't play. I don't know if I honest to God don't know if I will, but I don't know. Maybe you can swim. I've been told that not to believe your opinion. So let's hear it, Brian.
All right. So actually, Green Man and I have been playing quite a bit because we wanted to experience the multiplayer aspect of it to see what this really was. And I didn't play any of it before. So this is purely a fresh perspective because I never played the original. I purchased it this week. And I can say that it does put to shame somewhat Elite Dangerous now, as far as the feeling of when you land on a planet, the uniqueness of the planet. The space travel isn't as hardcore. Some people like Elite Dangerous for how difficult it is, right? Kind of having that very realistic flight. This is a little more casual than that. It's not as difficult to go from place to place, but the world is just as big. I was very surprised at the amount of features that it has of what I've experienced so far. When you land on a planet, they are unique. I've not ran into 2 identical planets yet. And the ships are, the one thing I was very surprised about is you actually are able to get these giant ships, and they have, they are, I mean, giant. You walk around them and there's just halls. There's like halls and huge rooms, and you can customize them and redo like rooms that are in there and make them your own. I haven't even gone into the underwater worlds yet. And it's just, it's a very gratifying, as far as I don't feel like there's a stall in the game as when I play of, okay, what do I do next? There's always kind of working towards that next goal, which I appreciate. And multiplayer is more of quests. It's not really like, let's build a huge base together, because they don't really have a true clan system. But we are able to do quests together. Green Man's able to come on my ship and craft and do things on the ship. So I think that within a realistic perspective, it's not 100 people. You don't have your clan come in and be working on one ship. But it is much bigger than I expected, and it is a very vast world. I've only touched the surface. I've discovered a ton of planets that are just mine, that I've been the first one to discover them, because there's so many to pick from. It starts you off in a unique place, from what I can tell. And pretty much what you're seeing on the screen, like, that's what it looks like. It's not special effects.
Really?
It is very difficult. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got to stop you for 1 second, because I've got to ask this. And once I saw you were playing it, I actually didn't want to play, because I was really curious on how you would describe it. Because I played it the day it came out. So the biggest issue with No Man's Sky, it's No Man's Sky. That's the name of the game. It's No Man's Sky. Biggest problem was there was nothing. You landed on a planet, you discovered it, and what you did on that planet was go and get fuel. I don't remember what it's called. You mine, it's red. You get fuel, you hop back on your ship, you fly away, you land at the next planet, you get fuel, you get back on your ship, you fly to the next.
It's nothing like that.
That's all there was to do when the game came out. Was literally you were landing on planets to get fuel to go to the next. That's all it was. There was nothing in between.
I don't feel any rush to get to the next planet, to get to the next place. Going from system to system. Now they have this thing where you get these huge ships, and then you can also send. So you actually are able to get and buy these giant ships that you send out, and they go out and do quests for you, and they go across the universe and do search for you. So like there's a continuing side quest and like all these other things to distract you with your time. And so you can kind of pick where you want to go. There is a very large amount of progression in the crafting system, with the ship upgrade system is huge. And so I feel like I'm more working to get the resources together that I need to be able to build certain items to place in my ship, or to, use for certain weapons, things like that. I haven't felt like I'm just landing on I felt like that with Elite Dangerous at times. When they tried to get you to do the landing missions, I felt like, okay, I land here, and it just wasn't very clear. I feel like this is very natural. I think you would be very, very surprised if you went in there. I haven't even really messed with the base building system, because my ship that I can fly, it's like a portable ship. that I dock my one that I'm flying in. I dock it inside of another gigantic ship, and then that I can actually have fly to other solar systems. And then I can store multiple ships. I can buy multiple ships and place them in there. Other people can come. When people join my game session, they can fly in, land in my ship, and do stuff with me. And so then we can go places together as a group.
Interesting. And that the fuel, Jones is reminding me, it's plutonium is the fuel that you're mining in No Man's Sky. Yeah. I mean,
there's a ton of resources now to mine.
Yeah,
there's tons of stuff.
There were some resources to mine, but there was just this. There wasn't anything to do besides mine either. I remember mining some rock. I don't remember why, specific type of rock, and plutonium, and that was pretty much it. You did that on almost every planet.
Now, like, you get carbon and oxygen.
Yeah, carbon.
Like, all kinds of other stuff. So you scan a plan or you scan a rock, and they'll give you all these different resources that are used in the crafting system now.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you should try it out. It's definitely, it's much better than what I saw videos of the original. That looks visually much better. I haven't seen any stupid looking AI. Like, remember that one with the guy playing the flute, and it shows the big T-Rex looking thing, very crazily walking. It hasn't felt like that at all. And I feel like the worlds feel like there's stuff in them. Everything feels kind of natural. And what I like the most compared to Elite Dangerous, and I do still like Elite Dangerous. I'm not saying that this is, saying that, oh, this is much better than Elite Dangerous to where you wouldn't want to play that. But what I like here, this video, what I like is that I feel like I'm actually going to a planet and it's going to be different. I don't know what I'm going to find. Right? That's something that I enjoy, that it's not predictable.
Yeah.
And this, I feel like now this isn't predictable, where almost every planet in Elite Dangerous is predictable. There's not really that much uniqueness. They may have a different color, but they're all kind of the same. I like this, that everything's so randomly generated that nothing is the same on a planet.
All right. I'll install the game.
Okay.
At some point in the next week.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You should give a report next week.
I need you to hold me accountable, damn it. That's what I need. I need you to harass me until I install it. Seriously, well, I'm not even joking around. I need you to harass me.
I'll invite you to come and do a session, because if you join us, then you'll be able to see my ship.
Yes.
Like, you'll be able to land into it, and you'll have to play a little bit to unlock a few things, because if you haven't unlocked your ship, you won't be able to do certain things on my ship, but you'll at least be able to run around and see it. I think you'll be very surprised at how gigantic this is. And I don't know what would really round this off for me is if they had it to where there were ships that multiple people could fly in as far as your personal ship. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Nisco posted that No Man's Sky video, but it's with Ark. And it's so freaking true. I mean, I'm just gonna have to play this because, oh my god! I mean, this is the most accurate video. It's about Ark. I mean, tell me that's not the most accurate thing you've ever seen. Oh, that's the thing, is it's so hard to deliver.
Funny. That's why they almost shouldn't promise anything and just deliver. Like, surprise everyone with how good it is. I wish companies could undersell, like, as far as what they're promising, so that people would be surprised on the release. I know that they have to push numbers. Don't do pre-sales. I mean, if you really cared.
No. Real simple solution, Brian. Make your trailer a realistic playthrough of the game. I mean, here's the thing. I'll tell you one thing. I don't buy games based off trailers most of the time. So,
because you have experience with Call of Duty and
I'm just saying in general,
where it's nothing like the actual game.
Who the hell's buying a game based off just the trailer? Just the trailer. There's so much information available about these games. Nobody's buying it just off the trailer. So if you're going to make a trailer, make it freaking realistic.
Just show gameplay.
I mean, Ark is just as that Ark trailer that actually can happen. The No Man's Sky trailer on launch was absolute BS. None of that stuff was available in the game. The Ark trailer is not the greatest, but we had some when we were playing that game. We had some similar experiences not too far off from the Ark trailer with massive groups of animals flying in towards one location. We did have some realistic things like that, but God Almighty, I don't know what is wrong with these developers, where it would kill them to make a realistic trailer.
Yeah,
I mean, good Lord.
Well, I think now No Man's Sky is much closer to the trailer, to where you see birds and things flying around. There's animals wandering around. It is much closer than that original one where they would have some random creature that wasn't quite right walking around like that, and on a very empty landscape. Now they're generally not empty landscape. They've got stuff.
Could you imagine if movie trailers were parts of the movie that didn't exist?
Yeah, like people would freak out and say this is false.
When you watch a movie trailer,
they don't claim that with games.
When you watch a movie trailer, that thing is in there.
Yeah,
like that exists at some point. The scene, the whatever it is, the gunshot, the car crash, whatever, it exists at some point in time during the movie. It's not the case with video games.
Yeah, because they put in these cutscenes and they say, well, it's actual in-engine. They love saying in-engine
gameplay.
Footage. All that means is they rendered it in the engine. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but people think that, oh, that's what it's going to look like because it says in engine. No, that just means they rendered it. It's a 3D animation that they rendered in the engine. It has nothing. That doesn't mean a word.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything. So they should have to clearly label, here is in-game footage. I wish they would actually label that. This is in-game footage. And if people never see the label in-game footage, then they know, okay, nothing that we've seen is actually going to be how it feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. So yeah, No Man's Sky, I'll work this week to get you to play it. And then come back because you played it originally. I really want to hear because since I didn't have anything to really compare it to other than what people said, I want to get your take on, do you now feel like this is what they originally promised?
Yeah. I'm trying to launch my Steam right now and see how much time I'd played originally. Of course, it's not working with me, but I'll find out.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. No Man's Sky, and then if you do buy it, I will say use our Humble Bundle code because it is cheapest. If you go to Steam and end up buying this game, it's I think $30, $29.99 right now is on sale. But if you go to Humble Bundle under our code, I think it's like $26.
Oh, cool.
Something like that.
Well,
so it is cheaper. So usually if it's cheaper in Steam, I say go to Steam, but it is cheaper if you're going to go to Humble Bundle and do it. And if you use our code, it gives us a percentage of that purchase.
So if you head on over to our websites, infectionpodcast.com/support, click on the Humble Bundle link. That'll bring you to our affiliate code page. Then you can go to the store and you can search around, find the game, and it'll be on sale over there. So there it is.
And I'm currently I played 13 hours so far this week of No Man's Sky. So
I've got.
So you can click that box and it'll give you 5% back on your purchase.
Gotcha. I have got 9 hours played. That was all within the first probably week of the game. So
okay.
It's not that I played it for an hour and shut off. I mean, 9 hours I think was enough time for me to go, wow, this is awful. I think that was a sufficient amount of time to play. At least.
And for me, I feel like I'm just starting on scratching the surface with 13 hours. There's so much stuff because I can see all these upgrades and these ships and all this stuff that I can get. And it's going to be those time sinks that you need of working towards those.
After 9 hours, I felt that accomplished the game.
Yeah, this is definitely, you feel like you're just starting it.
And it's not because I was like, wow, I've done so much. It was because I was like, Jesus Christ, I have literally gone from planet to planet mining plutonium to get to the next planet, to do nothing, to mine more plutonium. That was literally the whole point of the game. I don't know. I can't stress that enough. That's literally what you did.
Well, and see, now they have that 4-player co-op that you can do. So there's quests that you can do that will share between all of us, so we can all go and do them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there was some other ones that on my ship you could pick up as well that are general quests that I can share. I mean, I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, there are. It's not a game where everybody logs in, because the save game system is is weird. They have it to where
how does that work?
When you join my game, it's based on my save game. So if you have another save game running and you're playing, I could join into your session, and it's basing it off of your save game now. So everything is based off of a save file, and so it's not like a continuous, like if I'm not playing and you go to log in, you can't join and play off of mine. I have to be logged in and playing it at that time for you to join in and continue with me. So at least from what I've seen, I've not tried to join in. Green Man would probably give a better, because I know that it's not totally tied on us being on the same time, because I've had it to where I've logged off and it's continued what he's doing. So that's one thing I'll have to test. Maybe we can test that together to see how reliant it is. Once you get that save game, does it keep a copy of the save game for you and kind of sync some stuff when we join back up? I'm not sure how that works, because it bases it off of an actual save file that you're opening up and then continue your game on, and then someone's joining in, and I think it's giving them a copy.
Weird. Yeah.
It's sure. Different, but so don't go in expecting that it's going to be a huge, like, 100-person thing. You're seeing all these people, but you can play together. It's kind of you against the world, not you against a bunch of other players. But one thing that they were pushing is that there is piracy and things like that. So you can actually join someone's game session. So if you join, random people can join your session.
You can turn that off, though.
Okay, but they have piracy. So you actually, if you want to be a pirate, you can go and try to steal from other people and take stuff from them. So that's kind of unique. I haven't even looked into that part of it yet, but that is in there.
I've already paid for it, so I might as well give it a try. I mean, I guess there's no harm in doing that. We'll see. I mean, clearly people are liking it. We'll get to current players here. I'll reference that at current players towards the end of the show. I mean, I don't know.
To come back from such a negative review and such a negative reception originally to where they're at now, I think that's pretty impressive. That shows that there is a reason to play, because if they did this kind of relaunch, they did this new release, the next update, and it was still really short on what they had promised, people would instantly say, it's the same, and they would have quit playing.
Yeah.
So I think other people I think it is pretty close to what they were originally thinking the original release of the game was going to be.
Don't worry, Firebomb. I'll play it and I'll give you a real review. That's
a
real review.
That's the thing, is I've been enjoying it, so that's why I say positive things about it. If I found it was boring, I would say don't bother. But I've been enjoying it, and it feels like a more well-rounded version of Elite Dangerous, which I really enjoyed as well.
Maybe we could do some talking while we played. That may be an interesting thing.
I think that kind of a game would fit well with that as well.
I think that would be a very good idea. All right, well, No Man's Sky, if you purchased it already back 2 years ago, you can reinstall it, check it out. If not, you buy it on Humble Bundle for $26, buy it on Steam for $30. I mean, I'm not saying buy or don't. I haven't experienced it, but I mean, maybe the recent Steam reviews speak for themselves. I'm not entirely sure. So who knows? You're an adult, make a decision, but don't blame it on us one way or the other.
All right. Let's talk about 7 Days to Die a little bit, because
do you have the patch?
No, I don't have the patch, but I do have some information of some things that are going to be included in the patch.
Okay.
Some of the recent changes that they've done just in this last week. So they have added 6 tiers of weapons. So each tier determines how many mods you can attach and the durability of the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is on the 24th that they added this. And then the mod and skill is determined by that, the, so the weapon damage that is actually determined by those mods and skill, and not the tier itself. So that's one thing they did add that we had talked about a little bit. But they did add, so they've added to where this is having just the world is bigger, 8,000 by 8,000 meters. I think that's, I don't remember if it's double, maybe the world's bigger, which I appreciate. Because that's one thing was when we played this game, we hit kind of that peak of we've explored the whole world. Now what do you do? Because it's a circle. you hit the edge and you can't go any farther than that. So now they're doing 8,000 by 8,000 meters. And then they did, I think they've been testing this for almost a month now. It's been 3 weeks that they've been testing. They did their feature freeze, and they've been doing tests on it. So I'm really hoping they did a Q&A video this past week as well. And so I'm hoping that this is a hint that in the next week, we're going to be having a release on this. But this new version is going to have new physics, vehicles, so like bicycles, motorcycles, and Jeep. We did show some of that video originally. They redid the sleeper system. So we call it Sleepers 2.0, to where it's more natural, like when a zombie is laying there and nobody's around, and then you walk into a room and it kind of jumps at you, and it's sleeping when you're not there, and then when you wake it up, it will actually get up and start chasing you. They redid the dungeons for this one, so there should be some unique dungeons in there with hazards and zombies that have specific ways that they act inside of there. They're going to be including, which stuff I like, backstories for each of the point of interests. So they'll actually be telling some of the story. They kind of overhauled the weapon system. So, they were talking about mods and things like that, but they've overhauled that to where it should be a much better system for weapons. They redid some of the animations, or they actually did mocap. One thing they've always has been kind of laughable is some of their animations. So hopefully they'll continue to do that. The progression system they've overhauled. They've put in a quest system. I think different than they had kind of a quest system of, build this or make this weapon. But they've added a bunch of new quests to that. They've redone the stealth system. And then of course that world generation, which I think will be the biggest thing in the AI pathing system. So they should be able to get around obstacles better.
When we played last time, we were playing on a randomly generated map.
Yes.
It looks like those maps were 10,000 by 10,000. According to...
So they shrunk it 10,000 meters?
It says 10,000... Oh, it's 10,000... It says 10,000 K. I don't know what... Is that I mean, I guess that would be kilometers, but then this other one just says 10,000 by 10,000. And do they have a map? They have a map that is...
Sure it wasn't 10K?
It may have been 10K. I mean, I've checked out a couple...
Maybe they made it smaller, because I know they're trying to have less dead space, and they're trying to use the environment more, so maybe they're just putting more things in that smaller space so that it feels like it's...
Because they do have a predefined map as well.
Yeah.
Which is 3,025 by 3,025. So it looks like this new map might be 10 by 10.
But I think what they're trying to do is making it so that there's more towns that are closer, as far as they're along the roads, but there's more stuff. So you're not wandering across half the map and 3/4 of it to a high percentage of it is empty.
So it is smaller. The current map is default is 10,000. So they're going to be changing it to 8,000, but you can change it in the server XML file. So you can make it whatever you want.
I think there's a limit though.
10 was the limit. So maybe you could probably turn it back to
8K. So 8. I wonder if that's the hard limit though.
Oh, I'm not sure.
That's the default.
That is the default.
We'll play with that. So I like to make it as big as possible so that we don't feel like we hit that limit. But I think that'll be something interesting for us to see when we play it. Does it feel smaller?
Yeah,
because I think with them redoing a lot of things that they've done, having the breakup of the the line of sight with the taller trees and all this, I think it's going to feel like a bigger world.
You're right. It probably will.
Now, some things that they dropped, bandits have been postponed till A18, so Alpha 18.
Oh man, that'll be out in probably what, 2020 maybe? You think during the presidential election of 2020, you think maybe we'll have that update?
Or maybe. That it says Blimp was dropped. I don't know if they were going to have a Blimp or if that. I think Blimp was probably a zombie type, I would assume.
Probably.
But Blimp was dropped. Plains and Maple Forest as full and distinct biomes. That was dropped. I don't know why. Zip lines were dropped, and then the Behemoth was dropped. So those will not be in there. If you heard about those before, they're no longer in there. And then they're putting quests and things like that to where you get XP from, instead of skill points, from the quests that are in the game. So
I just wish that this would come out so that we could just play it.
I don't know what or at least say, hey, we're going to be releasing it on Tuesday of next week, or they've got to know how close it is.
I know. I mean, just let people have some time in preparation to plan for it. I mean, if I know it's coming out, we can
say, all right, we're all going to play on this day. Like that's one thing they've not been good about is communication. I mean, he does talk. He talks, but when you ask him, he says, "Oh, it's getting close." But he never gives a definite. Yeah, which is kind of frustrating. All right, but yeah, that's Alpha 17. So hopefully next week,
or hopefully this week too. I mean, it's only Monday. We're a day early, so there is a possibility that we get the news Wednesday or Thursday. So that quick note: follow us on Twitter. We rarely tweet. We tweet before we do the show, and then we tweet after the show's been posted, if I remember. Other than that, we very rarely tweet. Follow us at InfectionCast. If there's a change to the game of the week, if 7 Days to Die comes out, you'll find it, the information, all that stuff there, and on our Discord. But follow us on Twitter at InfectionCast.
That's one thing is they have now the towns and the caves. The caves is going to be something that's adds more because you'll actually be able to go underground and go through these caves. So that'll be something cool, something else to discover. Because I think that's what we really enjoy about this game is you feel like you're exploring and discovering new things. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I really am super excited for it.
All right. I was going to mention Rocket League. This isn't the big patch that they're doing here mid-August, but they did come out with a new vehicle and crate for this one and arena. So they have, I think, the Throwback Stadium is now an option on this. So you can, in exhibition matches, local matches, private matches, and tournaments, you can now play on the Throwback Stadium. Also on here, they have these Zephyr crate that they've added, and in this new vehicle, which is the Venom Battle Car. So, but they will be, so just remember, they will be here in about 2 weeks or so, middle of August. They will be doing this whole new system where it's like the Battle Pass for Fortnite, and you can subscribe. They'll have the free tier, so you can get free skins and things like normal. But then they'll have the Battle Pass equivalent version where you can go through, and as you level up, you'll get additional vehicles, skins, all those different things from playing. So,
and they're changing
my wife,
the way.
This is.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, my wife, this is whenever she gets home and she wants to play a game, she plays this game, and so that makes total sense for her. Because she really she's like, oh, I want that car. I want that skin. She's really into that. So for her, it's a no brainer. $10 and she can get all that stuff and be happy. It's worth it.
They right now have a random drop system that occurs from time to time. That will be replaced with this more strategic.
You'll randomly get crates still. You can randomly get crate drops, but you will not get the items that it gives you randomly at the end of each match.
You randomly get a topper after a game. That stuff will be into this more progression based system. So,
yeah. So that'll be something to look forward to, and I'll be kind of watching for any kind of news on that. But I think that this is probably their final patch before the next big one.
Thanks. Thanks, my friend Dave here for subscribing to the Twitch channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thanks. For
Now,
that.
Unturned did have an update here. So they have it's called a new timed curated map. And so this is Carpat, I think maybe it's Carpet, CARPAT. I don't know if that's I assume it's Carpat.
It's Canadian.
Yeah.
Carpat.
Carpat.
Carpat. Well, I'm not Italian. What's going on?
And so this is because remember when he was here, he was talking about how he has kind of a group of modders that work on these things.
Yep.
So Battlecott and his crew of Unturned modders, they've been working on this one. And this is designed as a hardcore vanilla survival map meant to be played without kits. And so it's meant to be for a specific gameplay style. It's similar to Yukon. And he said, this is one of the most challenging maps in the game to date. For example, traders will judge you based on your reputation. If you have a low reputation, you'll only be able to trade with marauders. And there's actually a trailer. There's a trailer on there. I didn't see the link to it. If you want to see a video of it,
give me a minute.
It says view trailer. They didn't put a preview in it. So and then I have on here the bundle. So you can get some themed skins to go along with it.
Yeah, I believe it's just audio, if I had to guess.
So, and it looks like for this, there's like a kind of a Middle Eastern skin from what I can tell. And then, if that's a doctor's outfit skin, I can't really tell. This is Unturned graphics. And then a yellow style gun.
This is my favorite part of the trailer. Watch this. This is great. Watch the wheels of the car render in after the car's already in the frame.
Nice.
We should play this.
Yeah, we'll have to put it in one of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Our group loves Unturned, so playing the super hardcore map.
I think playing the super hardcore would be right down our alley.
We're doing this. Put it on your calendars next couple of weeks. New Unturned map.
All right, I will put that down.
Yeah.
And so then they also have Athens, which is another arena that they've made, which kind of has a Greek style theme to it. So that is Unturned. So they're still putting out content. And we'll have to see. I'll have to do another update on his new version that he's releasing under Unreal, just to kind of give an update of some of the changes. I think mostly he's just getting Unreal figured out and kind of building some of the base concepts of it. So
yes,
not a huge amount to show yet.
Thanks Jonesy for the subscription. Appreciate you. Subscribe.
All right.
To Twitch Prime.
One thing I was going to mention is a new game came out. I think it was today, or actually it was on the 18th.
Okay.
Survivors Battle Royale. This is a free-to-play game, and it's an overhead view, kind of a
top down.
It's kind of kind of like a side angle style view. And I played one game of it earlier today. I think the controls still need to get a little bit of work and to feel smooth, but it is a pretty unique type of a feel. I really like. I don't know if you ever played like Survive.io.
That's what I was gonna say. I never played it, but you talked about it, and this is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar style of the way it works. One thing I like is your line of sight. So you can't just see everything.
Yeah, you can see that.
It's totally based. They show there kind of a hint of what you can see. So if you hide in a building, you can't really peek and know what people outside of the building are doing, just like they can't see you. And so you actually have to kind of move around. You can't peek corners and stuff, because if you see them, they can see you. And so that's if they're facing your direction. So there's a bit of a skill gap there.
And this is a free game.
This is a free game. Yes.
Okay.
It has mixed reviews, but if you're into this kind of game, it might be kind of a fun thing to try out and just see how it feels. I do personally, from what I can tell, like Survive.io more, but because it's more simplified and it seems like a smoother experience. But I think that Survivor.io would be perfect on a tablet if they got the controls figured out. I played it on a tablet and they used the virtual thumbsticks, which I don't like.
Yeah, not good.
You could create on that style of a game a touch interface to where you're kind of touching it. I think that would be much better. But this is free to play. They don't have the duos. They don't have group yet. So I think we'll probably maybe have a chance of playing a little bit more once they have the duos and things like that, because people seem to enjoy that more.
Gotcha. Well, I believe we've covered almost everything. Is there any, looks like there's maybe another topic or two we didn't jump into. Anything else for?
Yeah, the Black Death, they came out with another update. And so if you're into the Black Death, go check it out. This one is 0.32 is the version number. Mainly, the big thing on this is they upgraded from, I think, Unreal 4.13 to Unreal 4.20. Oh, actually, no, these guys actually I think were closer. But they upgraded 4.20, which just came out here in the past week or so, the past week and a half. So they're keeping pretty close to very up to date with this. But they said they did do very large optimizations to the networking, which partially could be attributed to that Unreal update. And yeah, they're just they're keeping up on this. And there's another game, I can't remember what it was, but one of the other games we talked about, they upgraded from 4.13. That was the Solus Project, I think, which is actually in here. The Solus Project, they upgraded from 4.13 to 4.20. So a game like that, there's a huge amount of difference between those versions of the engine. The 4.11 is what they came from. That one, it was probably prior to Fortnite. And so a lot of those optimizations things were not in there.
Yeah, you could say a little has changed since then.
Yeah, so when these companies come in and they're able to do that upgrade, there's just so many features that are then being added to the engine that it instantly optimizes and makes it run better and allows them to do certain things that make it run much better. Because these guys are really trying to optimize it for VR. That's been their focus because they kind of released the game for the most part. But they've really been trying to get the VR working perfectly. So, yeah, but there's must have been a lot of work in that because that's a huge amount of engine versions to jump. So, and you notice at the end of that comment they put phew.
Yeah,
I was like, whew.
Can you very quickly,
can
you do like a quick 1 minute summary of why that's such a process? I mean, why can't they just click upgrade? Why is it not like your computer? You just click update and it does.
Yeah, why is there no upgrade.exe?
Yeah, and I'm asking, and I'm asking legitimately. Can you give us a little brief explanation of why that is?
So as they upgrade versions, Epic will put out changes to sometimes certain blueprints and things like that will say, or will change how that blueprint. So in the blueprint, you'll usually have a line coming in. It's like the pathing of how it executes the code, like the path that it's following. So you may have certain variables coming off of that blueprint or going into that blueprint, and that may have changed. So then when you go and compile your code and you try to run it, it'll say this one's out of date. So usually they'll put a little bit of leeway between a version of keeping the old version way of doing it in there and then having the new one so that it'll still work, right? But you need to go in and swap those out and adapt your code to the new way that it works. Well, when you jump 8 versions, all of the previous ways that it was done have been removed from the engine. So then your code just doesn't compile and it says we have all these things that don't work or don't exist.
Dependencies.
Yeah, so you have to go through and figure out, or they've just, they may have changed something. They may have removed a feature. They may have done something differently enough in a way that you just have to kind of rewrite a section of code or something. And so if they're mostly written off of, let's say, straight C++, and maybe a little less of an issue, but when you are using blueprints and things like that, that's where the automated method that you're using to come up with it may have changed to where you have to go through and find all those things, switch them over or rework them. And sometimes you do an upgrade and there's something that's just not compatible anymore. You may have been relying on kind of a weird way that they didn't intend to make something happen. And they may have fixed something that you were relying on. So there's a lot of possibilities of things going wrong between that many versions. And so I'd be surprised. They may have jumped version numbers. They may have just kept upping the version number, fixing things, upping the version number, fixing it, because that's a huge number of jumps, and it probably would just be totally broken if you did an instant switch. So who knows how they did it, but that is a huge amount. It's much better for them to try to keep up like what like what these other games do. Usually they'll keep within a couple versions of recent. They don't let it get that out of date, because you can't take advantage. I mean, especially with what Epic's doing now. I mean, you look at what Epic's doing. They're putting out just incredible features with each engine update. And so it's now worth it for people to keep up to date, where before it wasn't as important. Like they'd make it under one version of the game and they just let it sit there. And they'd be like, okay, that's what we released it under. But now it's like, oh, well, you get all these optimizations. Now you can take your regular game and fairly easily port it to mobile, and have that whole market. If you just were running the latest version, they really are giving people a reason to run the latest version of the engine now, because they're doing that incredible of updates. So,
well, there you go. Thank you.
Hopefully that explains it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the explanation on that. That's very interesting that it's not just upgrade.exe. Cool. All right. Yes. Well.
Oh, and then one thing they do to do a test for Hunt Showdown, there's a video to some of the 2.2 patch. There's nothing we really need to talk about, but Hunt Showdown, that was the one by Cry Engine that they put out. It's an actual title by them, but they're going to be putting out a new version here soon. And so they do have a preview video that you guys can check out. Kind of talks about some of the new changes to that.
All right. I believe
pretty much it.
This, for the first time in probably 3 months, Brian, I think we've covered every single topic.
Right on time, too.
Yeah, right, and within a timely manner. So,
or Crytek, yeah, sorry, on CryEngine, but from Crytek.
From Crytek.
Thank you, Jonesy.
Well, this is great. Okay, excellent. I always don't know what to do with myself here. We don't have to push a whole bunch of topics.
Yeah, I didn't have to say, oh, here's what we didn't talk about.
Yeah. Well, I know it's no surprise. It's no surprise to me, but it's time for everybody's favorite segment, and that is Tip of the Week. If I can get my soundboard to work for me.
Tip of the Week, or you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Current players.
Current players.
Yeah, I know your favorite.
No, I misspoke. It's time for current players. See, I was getting distracted here because my tablet was being weird with me. Now I'm all screwed up. Well, you know what? I'm a little screwed up. You know what's not screwed up? The fact that nobody's still playing H1Z1. Currently playing 2,643. The 24-hour peak, 5,315, with a 7-day peak, a mere 5,888 players. This is with their brand new map, the Z1 remaster, Chaos, whatever they're calling it. Nobody's playing. Currently playing Ark Survival Evolved, 34,974. Your 24-hour peak, 48,171, with a 7-day peak, 55,482. Moving on to Conan Exiles. They are still holding in solid with these player numbers. 8,465 currently playing. The 24-hour peak, 11,784, with a 7-day peak of 14,027. I've been tracking this game for 3 or 4 weeks now. These numbers are pretty consistent. It's within that 8,000 to 9,000 range. So they're holding on strong with those players. Currently playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, 253,937. Your 24-hour peak, 1,290,744. And the 7-day peak, 1,307,656. Now, I do a quick little bonus for you. It's not even a bonus as much as it is No Man's Sky. I don't have a graphic for it, but I can tell you who's currently playing it. So right now as we speak, the Monday evening as we're doing the show on a special Monday show, currently playing 66,475. Currently playing. The 24-hour peak's 82,334, and their 7-day peak, which was achieved yesterday, Sunday afternoon, was 97,723. Now, the all-time peak for this game was when it first came out at 212,000. So they're less than half of their original player base, which was the day the game launched. I would assume, 97,000 is still a respectable number. Obviously, they had a lot of people that bought the game. So 97,000 is obviously a respectable number. But the question is, next week, the week after that, where are those numbers going to be? I would imagine there's going to be a very steep drop off. The question will be, where does the number flat line? Where do they find their flat line? Conan's is between 8 and 9,000
game, so it's really going to be based on what people want to do with it. That's one thing, is it doesn't have that big online play to where you can keep people are kind of pulling each other to continue playing it. So I think that it's just going to be based on as people kind of reach either the amount of content they want to bother with. But it'll be interesting to see, is there so much content in there they can keep people playing over time? So we'll see.
There you go.
All right. So let's go and do a tip of the week.
Actual tip of the week.
Yeah, the real tip of the week. So sometimes it's a general gaming tip, but this one's going to be for a specific game that we've been talking about as of today, No Man's Sky. So this is tip of the week. All right. In No Man's Sky, when you land on a planet, you will not know what these rocks, plants, and animals are technically called. So when you kind of hover over them, you press the discover key, F, I think it is, and it will allow you to inspect objects. When you use your scanner on each of these items, it'll identify that item, and then you'll get an in-game currency as a reward for having discovered that item. So that's one way to kind of build up the amount of money that you have. Then once you've discovered that item, you can use your mining tool to gather those items. And actually, let's say it's a rock, it'll give you some sort of maybe a metal or something like that as a material. Put it in your backpack. Trees give like carbon and different things like that. And then plants that you can get different things from as well. And those will be gathered in your backpack. And you can use those for crafting. You can sell them to make money, or you can combine them. So there's actually a device that you can build that allows you to combine items to make a more complex molecule or whatever. It creates something that you can either sell on the marketplace for more money, or you can use them in more advanced crafting. When you're speaking to a vendor, one thing you might notice is that you don't understand the language that they're speaking. You can go in and learn different words from their vocabulary over time. By exploring the universe, you'll come across these different monoliths and things, and you'll start learning the vocabulary of these aliens that you're speaking to, and that will actually allow you to have more capabilities when working with them. Maybe you'll get additional quests. You'll get to where you actually can buy and sell with that alien. But that is something that as you unlock that vocabulary, you will get some additional capabilities and actually be able to understand what they're, because it comes across as a jumbled language originally. Once you start to learn the vocabulary, those words will get filled in. And then once you've learned them all, you'll actually understand everything that they're saying. So that is tip of the week.
All right. And you can buy No Man's Sky. It's on sale, 50% off, not much longer. I think through the end of the week. Yeah. You can buy it on Steam, or you can buy it on Humble Bundle using our affiliate code, and you can get the link for that at infectionpodcast.com/support. Maybe you bought it 2 years ago like myself. I'm going to try it, hopefully. But that's all you can do at this point.
See what you think. And remember this week, Friday night, we're doing Fortnite. The last 7 Days to Die magically gets released here in the next 3 days. Yep. But yeah, we're planning on Fortnite this week. And so make sure you have it installed on your Epic launcher, and give it a try. Yeah,
look forward to it. It'll be a good time. The game's really polished. I'm sure we'll have a good time with it. So we'll see you for that Friday night. That takes place 8 p.m. Eastern. We do it every Friday. Maybe you're new here. Every Friday night we do our Infection Game of the Week. It's more of a community building event than it is an actual playing the game. It's just cool to hang out and talk with everybody and have a good time. That's pretty much what we do, and we've been doing it now for I don't remember when Game of the Week started, but it's got to have been well over 2 years since we've been doing it. So join us if you can, and if not, hopefully you can join us soon.
Yep. And actually, Gadlaw, he gives a little bit of an addition to my tip of the week, where he says you can upgrade your scanner tool, and then it says for 300 to 400 nanites, which is the in-game currency, and allows you to scan flora and fauna for tens of thousands for each new scan instead of the original scanner price. So those are some of those upgrades that I was talking about, where you can upgrade, and there's just a progression system even with the upgrades that you're doing for each of these items, and you get benefits. As Gadlaw says, good game now.
I was going to say, the voice of God, our friend Gadlaw, has told us the game is good. So
you don't take my word for it.
Nobody was. So I
take his word for it.
I'll do my best to give it a try this week, and hopefully we'll see what is up with it.
All right.
Well,
so we're ready for
yeah. Let's go ahead and roll that.
All right. So XX Governor XX, we'll just call him Governor X or Governor. He have won. Congratulations. And so I'll send you a message here, since I don't know how to contact you outside of Twitch. So I'll have to send you a message in Twitch, and I'll get you the link or the code for it.
And I want to thank everybody for tuning in for our special Monday edition. Good turnout, which is not always on a Monday live show. Most weeks, we've had a couple recently which we've had to shift around due to my work schedule, but most weeks we're live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch, simulcasting on YouTube in case we break TOS. It's twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, or our YouTube channel, which is Infection Podcast. We do the show live. You can interact in the chat, win some games, argue with us, tell us we're wrong. I mean, whatever. We're here. We're live. We've been live doing the show for 185 weeks straight. Never missed a week of the show. We've done some Mondays. We've done some Wednesdays. We've done some pre-recorded shows. But we've never missed a week of the show. I've moved.
Don't plan on it.
No. I mean, we did a show. I moved, and I was back, and we were back the next week. I mean, it's some crazy stuff. And we're going out to PAX in 30 days, which is super cool. So.
Yep, that'll be fun.
And we're kind of a big deal. So, yeah. What are you going to do? Brian, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, go to our website, and that's where you can find a link to our Discord group, our Steam group for notifications of our live show, and also our audio-only formats, which is our most popular format. On there, you can, if you have an iPhone, Android, whatever you need, also you can get notifications by email on there. If you want just a reminder of when you can go catch the live or the recorded episode on YouTube, since their notification system doesn't always work.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't always work.
So our email version will remind you, go check out YouTube
every time,
and we'll have a new episode on there.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, thank you very much. Thanks for accommodating my little bit of a hectic work schedule, but I
no problem.
Appreciate everybody tuning in chat as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Infection. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. You check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.